Hey guys, um, not really used to doing this, so I'm gonna just start off with a disclaimer. This is a gaming YouTube channel. I'm Boogeyman from Boogeyman and Net Magnuts. Um, yeah, this is my first time really doing a face-to-face camera thing. This is about my favorite hobby, comic books. Uh, so I've gotten this request a lot from a lot of friends of mine and family, mostly just because they don't really understand my hobby in general. It's kind of fucking crazy to think about. So this video is kind of made for vets and new people to the hobby, just kind of to educate and also show off my top 5 books in my collection currently right now. Um, Also, another disclaimer, I live in Canada, so any of the prices that I am talking about is in Canadian dollars. So if you are seeing this video and you're living in the US or some other part in the world, just know that the values translate differently. Still worth a lot, at least in my eyes, but different to most. So, okay, so to get started, I started collecting comic books about, I want to say, a year and a half ago. So I think I've gained pretty good knowledge of the collecting world and its market, for the most part. I mean, I would hope to think that I've learned a lot. um so yeah, first I'm gonna say basically what I think of the books myself, and then I'm also gonna talk about what really makes them an investment piece and what makes them so special. Um, Actually, today you guys are gonna get a surprise. A sixth book, so not just my top 5, but also a sixth book that I personally think is going to gain value and um, yeah, just get a honorable mention here. So my first book here is going to be Invincible Returns #1. This is one of the greatest comics that um, I believe it was, yeah, Robert Kirkman has ever come up with, other than The Walking Dead. But I mean, I gotta be honest, I love Invincible. Like, if you haven't seen the show, it's great. It's got a ton of gory fight scenes and everything, and I love it. And I'll probably be around for a while. What's so special about this book is not only the low print run, but also the grade right here. So, essentially, uh, a 9.6 is one of the closest things you can get to a 10. So how CGC grades is they judge the book from 1 to 10, and depending on how good the physical appearance and like quality of the book, you'll get judged between that range from 1 to 10. Now 9.6 is pretty fucking high. Sorry, pardon my French, but it's pretty high. So, yeah, 9.8s are usually, I think, the custom top grade. You can get 9.9s, but 10s are almost, I like to think, theoretical. Some people, they got 10s and stuff, but you just don't see them not much nowadays. But yeah, this book right here, this one's really fun, really good. I gotta slow down my cursing, sorry. Um, but it's the Boogeyman and Dr. Magnet's voice, don't you? Yeah. Anyways, so too bad Dr. Magnets cannot join us today, but you know what? You got this stuff. This is the good stuff. So basically, the thing that makes this book so special and in opposition to other Invincible books is not only just the print run, but you can't see because of the custom label, but it's the first appearance of Grand Regent Thrag, which is personally my favorite character in the Invincible series as a whole. So, yeah, like, come on, guys. If you've seen season 4, you already know what I'm talking about. This guy is no joke, and I don't think he's going away anytime soon. So when I picked this book up just before season 4 actually came out, I was ecstatic because to hear that Thrag was showing up in the show, because I knew what that potentially means for the character going on. So yeah, so this book is special. Honestly, right now, kind of judging, like I got a pretty good deal on it. Judging off of how much I would probably sell for it right now, market wise, would probably be at least $600. Because I don't see this guy going away anytime soon. 9/8s kind of go just under 1,000 right now, but like, I mean, like I said, there's a low print run of these books, so, and there's going to be a supply and demand. My best recommendation though is that with Invincible books, they're always going to be a mixed bag. Some of them are really cool and really good, some of them aren't. Like, I'll be just straight up, if you're paying over $1,000, really know what you're looking at with these kinds of things. Even $500. This is like me talking here to myself, but even if you're spending any serious money on any of those Invincible books, know your research and know that once you do buy them, you're gonna have to watch those markets when the new seasons come out, when new games and all that stuff come out as well. So you're gonna have to be constantly media driven and kept informed with what's going on. But with this character in particular, Thrag is going to be like one of the best Invincible characters in the show ever. They've already, the writers have already written him pretty damn well, pretty damn powerful in comparison to comics, if I do say so myself. Pretty badass. But yeah, so take it with a grain of salt if you're thinking about getting any Invincible books. I like Invincible, but me personally, this is probably the only Invincible book I will get. I know a lot of people are interested in collecting the ones from early 2003, 2004, like first Battle Beast, first Omni-Man cover and all that stuff. Just be careful about that kind of stuff, okay? Because realistically, if you're gonna buy them, my best recommendation is buy them way before like a season comes out. And even if you do, like buy it like on the dead spot. Like just watch the market, buy it on the dead zone. Maybe you could snag one on eBay off low bids for like whatever, right? And then you don't have to deal with the financial burden of if your book potentially goes down. Because mind you, these things are like stocks in a way. So like depending on which ones you invest in, there's a certain risk factor of like profit gain versus profit lost. So if you want to turn this to stocks wise, this would be a mid to high risk value is what I would put it as, because these books, yes, while they are very popular as of right now, they do have the serious potential of like crashing at any point. I remember one time I almost had an Invincible #1 at a 9.2 actually, and I could have bought it at the time for $1,700, but I put it aside because I was still trying to hunt for more key ASM issues, which is Amazing Spider-Man. I thought that those books would, far surpass any Invincible book. I was kind of wrong because I learned after season 4, Invincible #1 actually went not just from like a 9.0 sold for like $3,800,000. Sorry, no, $3,800, and that I could have had a 9.2. To think I could have had easily over $4,000 worth in just one book, but I digress. So that's my honorable mention. Be careful about Invincible books. All right, now to the meat and potatoes of today's video. Okay, so first book on my top list. This is ASM issue number 46, I believe. Yeah, 46. This is the first appearance of Shocker. Shocker is a very underrated character, I feel like, in Spider-Man. He's had tons of appearances, at least in the 90s cartoon and the video game, Insomniac's video game. So all I'm gonna say is that this guy is no joke. Like he's up and coming, and he's not gonna go anywhere. He may not be as popular as Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus, I will give him that, but Shocker is still one of my childhood favorites. I mean, I remember watching the 90s Spider-Man cartoon and seeing that guy being like the OG, like kick-ass jobber. So kind of like Rhino and them. So this guy, actually, fun fact, when Stan Lee and John Romita written him in the 60s, they actually written this story for him to be a powerhouse that could actually beat Spider-Man. And he, in fact, did in his first fight against Spider-Man. Now, they had him injured, like an injured arm or leg or something. I'm gonna say this: Shocker whooped his ass. Okay, Shocker is no joke. His power is basically concussive shock gauntlets that basically like emit the same force as like an earthquake, for example, right? So this guy is very cool. Character holds a very special place in my heart, so I had to get a higher grade. I actually had two of these, but the one I had to trade up to get an Iron Man 55, which that grade wasn't really the best anyways. I think I'd have 4 of that book or something, so I just traded that to get it Iron Man 55. And Iron Man 55, which is the first appearance of Thanos and Drax, I mean, I had to get it while I was at Comic-Con. So terrific book. If I am going to say anything more about ASM issues as a whole, it is very good to invest in Spider-Man, Batman, and I get that, like whatever you're into, but just know that you see the Iron Man helmet there? Sorry, I just seen it. Yeah, the ASM issues I would recommend most in collecting, and I know a lot of people, at least veteran to the game, know this, are ASMs 50 to like 1, basically. And obviously the first appearance, but like, let's be real, guys. Unless you're a multi-millionaire, I don't think you're getting that book anytime soon. That would be my best recommendation, is going for those like key Silver Age Spider-Man books. Because I mean, let's be honest, that's what made Spider-Man so popular. A lot of people are accustomed to getting like, say, like your granddad's box of comics, and it's all from 70s, 80s, and maybe even 90s. A lot of that stuff, I'll be honest, in my opinion, is just filler. Like, there's a lot of great stories and a lot of great storylines, but unless if you're actually, like, you're a reader, those are great, but if you're a collector, none of them are really worth your time, and I'm just going to be straight up about that. The only exceptions from 1 to 50, and I'm talking about first appearances, obviously, would be like ASM 129, the first appearance of Punisher, or ASM 300, the first appearance of Venom, which those books are worth, like, they hold their own, and they're really, you know, just off of the title themselves, worth a lot. And they're significant because they're first appearances of 2 Marvel's best and most famous characters. So outside of that, you know, you got Carnage and you got Hobgoblin, but I'll be honest with you, I never was really much of a Hobgoblin guy. I liked Carnage as a kid, but even just getting into the hobby of collecting, Carnage just fluctuates way too much in the market, for me at least, to feel like it's a reasonable investment. And I'll be honest, I like Venom way better. Like, who doesn't? Like, Todd McFarlane's Venom is the best Venom. So, all right. So, on that same note, actually, my next book is POW. ASM 300. This book, as I mentioned before, is the first appearance of Venom, which aka Eddie Brock. This book is great. I like this book. This book was actually my first big dollar book that I had traded Thor #1. Well, no, not #1, but it'd be like the first issue titled Thor. I think it was Thor #126. With him and the Hercules cover. That book was nice. I liked Thor. Only problem is with Thor, he's like Iron Man, where unless if you get like super key issues with key appearances, all of his books are worth practically jack. Like, there's no real investment value there. But this book right here was an absolute pickup for me. I mean, I love Venom. Venom was probably my favorite Spider-Man villain. I'm sure a lot of you guys, maybe even watching this video, you like Venom just as much as I do. Tom Hardy movies were great. This character is iconic in every single way, shape, and form. I like this, but my only pet peeve with it, and of course it's just because now I'm becoming a higher end collector, is the grade. The grade is great. I like 9.2s, but if I'm being completely honest, my lowest I think I want to go for like books like this is like a 9.4. But my main thing is I'm not gonna trade up. Don't trade up just to get like a grade, like a couple grade points higher. It's not worth it. Like, you're more than likely always getting scammed in that situation. There's no, the only way you can do that is if you're going from this book to like a much higher one. Like me, I think if I were to get rid of this one, it's gonna be either for a trade, and this is actually on my trade. This is now on the trade blog for me. Like, I will keep this but until I find something that is like suitably way better and probably more rare, probably I will trade it up for a 9.6 or another key ASM issue. Probably like number 14 I've been wanting for a while, which is the first Green Goblin, or maybe a 9. I like Electro. Don't judge me. I like Jamie Foxx's Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2. But yeah, I might trade it up for something like that, because I know, like, I love this issue. I wish I will keep it, but like I said, I can always get it back at the end of the day. This isn't really a hard book to find nowadays. There's just a lot of them going around. Like, the Shocker is probably 10 times as more rare as this, but yet this is more valuable. There's a market for these, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So, ASM 300 is also a good, like, entry level, I feel like, to, like, Grails. Because, like, Venom is well known from everybody, but, like, you don't have to get as high as grade as my stuff. Like, my stuff is, like, a lot. Like, I think, like, the Shocker's worth at least about 700 right now. And then this one is worth, I think last time I checked on eBay, it's around 850 now. Which is great because I like having a book that's stably going up. All these ASM issues, I would say, are like well, if you go from 1 to 50, you're probably going to be like low to mid risk on investment loss, just unless if you obviously overpay for one of them. That always sucks. But okay, so the next book, and this is like getting to the big three, guys, for me at least. ASM number 20, the first appearance of that guy, Scorpion. Now, if you don't know Scorpion from the Spider-Man books, you might have seen him in the Spider-Man video game. Insomniac did a great job with all the adaptations in that game. Like, I mean, everything, down to a T. I like how they introduced him with not just the sharp barb, but also strong character with a tail. They added a poison element that almost works the same way as Scarecrow, but just much cooler with the hallucinogens. So this character right here is perfect. Like, I think this is probably like the next best arch nemesis to Green Goblin and Venom and all those other guys. Scorpion's just a great character, and he's got a pretty good story arc. And it's just his power that makes him on par with the others, in my opinion. But it's just original. Like, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, they really were cooking with some of these character creations back in the day, I'm telling you. But this one was from 1965. I believe the Shocker was from 1967. Amazing Spider-Man 300 was from 1988. But yeah, like I said, another great book. And actually, I will just mention this real quick. This may not look like as high as a grade in my other ones, but trust me, like, this is really good. Because the only thing is that's wrong with this one is there's a small binder hole punch. So with that, it's like, without that, the book is like practically like in really good condition. Like, I'd probably give it around a 6.5. It's just that, yeah, that binder punch hole at the bottom there through the whole book. It's very small, very minute. It doesn't really bother me. It might bother some people, but like, it doesn't bother me at all. This book is great. I think it goes for around $1,000 right now, considering that the new Spider-Man New Day movie that's coming out right away is gonna debut Michael Mando as the new Scorpion. All right, next book. This one is a bit more sentimental to me. This one is Amazing Spider-Man number 41, the first appearance of Rhino. I don't know in this video if this is gonna come out like reversed. This is my bad, guys. If the camera's not flipped, I just wanted to make sure that I was in frame. But this book right here, this is not only an extremely high grade for this book coming from 1966, but this is the first appearance of Rhino. Rhino is one of my favorite characters of all time. One of my mom's favorite characters from the 60s cartoons and whatnot. But this character is like iconic. I'd argue just as iconic as any other Spider-Man villains, even more than some of the Sinister Six members. But this guy right here, right here is a pretty penny. Like I mentioned earlier, the Scorpion goes for about 1,000 right now. This guy goes for, I think it was 1,100 the last I checked. Yeah, super rare. I actually had one of these books from my grandma, who collected comic books for me. So that like I'd have something to read when I grew up. And it was a very low conditioned one. I think it was a 2.5. It came back from CGC, mostly because it had a water stain through the back cover and the whole book, except for the front cover, thankfully. Now, I wasn't really too happy with the grade, but I kept the book anyways because it had some sentimental value. But I told myself if I was ever to sell it, I have to go balls out and get something that's like, I have to get it back and get it at a really good grade. And this right here, 7.0, is like pristine for this book. I mean, really outside of the off-white pages, this thing's like visually sound. Like the presentation is there, guys. Another key ASM. This is, yeah, I said number 41. Yeah. Okay. Finally, my next book. This one I just got. This one's probably my biggest book I've gotten yet. And it's only gonna get better from here. Like, I'm not gonna plan on stopping collecting anytime soon. Obviously, like other life things come priority first, but when I do have the chance and the opportunity, I always usually seize it. Okay. Number one in my collection right now for my best book is this one right here, Incredible Hulk number 180 at a 7.0. Now this book, to a lot of people, can be controversial for some, but also very iconic for a lot of others. The only reason why I say controversial is because there's a lot of debatable arguments to what is the first appearance of who, you may ask? Wolverine. Yes, guys, this is the first appearance of Wolverine. I love Wolverine as a character. Like this is probably one of my favorite characters next to Spider-Man, so I had to pick this up. Wolverine first appeared, so as it says on the CGC title, it says first appearance of Wolverine in cameo on the last page. Now, there's a reason why the CGC words it like this, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Basically, Wolverine shows up in this book at the last page, but this guy and like the Hulk and this guy, the Wendigo, I think it's pronounced, they fight the entire book, but it was only towards the end do you actually see Wolverine. It's on the very last splash panel. I'll learn how to edit later. I'm still learning, guys. But there's a splash panel, if you could find it online, and it's basically like, it's the last panel of the book, but it has a whole kind of like little mini splash panel of Wolverine in full costume, talking his shit, and basically the book justifies that he's from the Weapon X program and all that. I justify that as a first appearance any day. Like, I think I've done enough research to tell the difference between a first appearance versus a cameo, and guys, like, this is the first appearance. Like, there's no arguing that. Marvel stated it multiple times too, so if you're ever weary about getting this book over Hulk 181, don't worry, it's just as valuable, if not even more valuable. So really what it comes down to is a couple of things. This book has a lower grade and I believe print run than Hulk 181. Hulk 181, if you don't know, it's credited to be the first full appearance of Wolverine. And notice why I say full appearance. Basically, because this is a splash page at the end, you finally get to see him fight and get in action in Hulk 181. And also a lot more people like the cover because it's Wolverine versus the Hulk. I mean, who doesn't love that? But that book is in significantly higher grade count than this one, and it's also like significantly more money for some people. So my best recommendation is that if you're trying to get into this and you're trying to collect some Wolverine keys, either buy Wolverine Limited Series #1. That was one of my first books, or if you want to get up, this is probably one of the best you can get. I'm surprised at how like cheap you can get this sometimes, but I mean, like I said, it's also kind of a lower population count. But you know what? At the end of the day, like I said, there's no arguing that this is the first appearance of Wolverine. Whether you want to say what I like to say, and I don't like to use the word cameo for this. If you wanted to know what the actual term for cameo is, it's basically like this. There was a Superman comic that came about, I believe, in the 70s that actually debuts the cameo appearance of Darkseid. Basically, what it is in the book, it shows Jimmy Olsen or whoever in like, I think it's like it's like a broadcast room, and there's on the TV screen in one panel shows Darkseid's face on the TV screen. That right there is the only appearance of Darkseid in that entire book. So that's why I say that is the first cameo appearance. But this right here is more blatant. This is like whole, you know what I mean? Like whole suit, whole outfit, claws, everything. Like there's no debating it. I seriously think that there's like Hulk 181 is just as valuable as Hulk 180. I wish to get both at one point, actually. I'm not trying to discredit Hulk 181 in any way. Hulk 181 is, I favor this just as much as this one. But I do seriously think that some people should, especially some newer collectors, should also understand the value of this book itself. So I advocate for this book being the first appearance of Wolverine ever. And some people I seen online talking about, oh, technically X-Men, like giant size X-Men would be a better Wolverine investment comic. Can I be honest with you guys? Yes, it's a good investment comic, but just not really for Wolverine. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because even though Wolverine's character is further developed in that story and comes up with a newer design that we all come to know and love, the book is more valuable just on the sense that it changed X-Men as a whole and revived it. Because but if you didn't know, before that book, X-Men was kind of dying. Like, it wasn't selling as many books, it wasn't as popular. So if it wasn't for that book, it would, and those new introduction to new characters like Storm, Nightcrawler, and Colossus and all that, it wouldn't be as popular. Okay, so it's not just special because of Wolverine, it's special because of the X-Men getting revamped. That's what I want to clarify for some people. So if you're looking to invest in Wolverine comics, that one's okay. But this one in Hulk 181, like, in my opinion, clear it. Like, no questions asked. These two books made Wolverine. Like, there's no Wolverine in X-Men if it wasn't for these two books. And Wolverine, if you didn't know already, he was actually meant to be like one of the villains for Hulk. But it's because so many people liked him as a new Canadian hero, I guess he just decided to stick around as a badass mutant. So, but yeah, this book is like awesome. I can't say enough good things about it. The grade I got it at, I think, is really good. I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of this, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna keep this until I get a Hulk 181 to match it with. Honestly, it's like the same thing with all my books. I think I'm at the point now where all of these as a whole I'm gonna keep, except potentially the 300. The 300, yeah, the 300 is like, where is it? Yeah, right there. ASM 300 is gonna be potentially on the trade block for me, and like I said, I love that book, but there's always an opportunity to get another one at a much higher grade at a later point. And also, like, come on, ASM 300 is one of those books that almost runs the markets nowadays. So if I can trade it to get something a little bit more rare and a little bit more on the grail end, I'm gonna do it. So, but yeah, this is my top, these are my top 5 books in my collection as of right now. Now, just real quick, before the end of the video, for some people who are trying to get into this collecting stuff and collecting comic books especially, there's one thing of advice I could give you is just patience. Patience is a virtue. You may have heard this and it may sound cheesy, but I'm so serious when it comes to that, because too many people I see nowadays trying to get into this hobby and try to almost like rush into it and then buy everything the second that they see it. And it makes me, I don't know, it makes me like sour at the same time about the hobby, because it's like you're not understanding why, like, you wait for certain things. Like, you get it, yeah, it's all good, fine and dandy, but it's a comic book. It's gonna sit on your shelf. Best case scenario, you show it off to a bunch of people. That's cool. That's why I do it, at least. I like having these iconic issues of these iconic characters. I like first appearances. Those are my favorite key things to say. First appearances, if it wasn't for those things, you wouldn't have all these movies, video games, television shows, whatever. So all I'm saying is just take your time and really indulge in what you're looking at. And if you're not too sure about it, just always, there's YouTube videos, not even just about myself. That's why I kind of want to make this. I've had plenty of people request just making kind of like a beginner's guide, I guess, like just kind of talking about the hobby in general and what you should be looking for versus what you shouldn't be looking for. Like, I made a pretty deep, I feel like I made a pretty deep disclaimer about Invincible books if you're into Invincible. It's just watch. Like, there's some stuff that are worth a lot more than others, even though they may be going for the same price. Just look at what you're getting, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna spend $1,000 on an Invincible book versus you can get $1,000 Silver Age Spider-Man book, which one you gonna go for? I know me, I'm gonna go for the ASM book every single day of the week. Like, it's Amazing Spider-Man. He's been around for a long time and he's not going anywhere. It's the same as Batman, same as Wolverine, all those characters. If I didn't mention before, the market value currently right now, I think I have this sitting at, is $1,200. So this is the most I've ever been, a comic of mine has ever been worth. And I think it's only going to get better from there, like I said. But yeah, so if I were to give any recommendations, me myself, I'm an heavy ASM collector. I'm probably going to get all the sets. I think now that I have 41, 46, now I dip my toes into the first 20. Now that I got Scorpion, I'm gonna start going for issues like 19 and under, because I think it's worthwhile getting those books if you can. And like these, I'm 19 and I only started this about a year and a half ago. These books, by the time I retire, are guaranteed to make more, like, are gonna gain value. Like, it's just almost a certainty. It's like if you were to invest in a savings account or in stocks even. So but like I said, I'll probably end up getting some other stuff later on and adding to this, but for now, I think the smartest thing to do, and I also very hugely advocate this, trade up. And if you don't know what I mean by that, and you're still starting out and you don't understand, a lot of veteran collectors know what I'm talking about. If you have a book and a certain book in your collection, and you're like, you may like it. You also have to view this as kind of a business perspective too. You can't really get too attached to them, I feel like unless if you get a really high grade and you're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm happy with this, I'm not ever gonna sell this, I'm not whatever, right? That's okay. But if you have a grade that's like pretty damn decent and you're like, you know what, I kind of would like to get this book, but it's kind of out of my price range right now, you could always trade up. If you know, if you get to know more people and you also in this like hobby and you get to know more stores and more places to go find these books that you want, you'll eventually run into some pretty nice people that are like more than willing to trade your book, maybe with some cash on top if you haven't summed up the full value, and just trade it across. Like, I know like my ASM 300, that's gonna be a big book and that's gonna go for a big trade. Like I said, I'm not getting rid of that unless if I get something good. So, and yeah, so like that book would be an automatic temptation to even like a reseller, because they know that they can sell an ASM 300 way faster than say like an ASM 14, because 14 being the first appearance of Green Goblin and it's from 1964, for example, he knows that he's more likely to get the $850 quicker with the cash that I probably give him on top, right? And also versus like selling the ASM 14 on its own. Some people will pay money like that, no problem, but it also depends on who you know. I know that at the end of the day, the people who I tell about this, some of them think I'm absolutely nuts. Like, they think I'm crazy, and I'll be honest, I know I'm crazy, but like this is different just because it's like pop culture antiques. You cannot replace this stuff. Like, this stuff is, there's only a certain amount of it, and if you grab and you dip your hands into it as much as you can, hopefully you come out with some like amazing money, or like even just passing it on to your kids. Like, this is something I'm gonna be doing definitely long term. Like, I'll probably be collecting till like the day I die. I have a PC, and then I'll probably have like a bunch of stuff I'm willing to auction or trade off. But like, until then, this is just a starter. Like, I feel like these 5 books, or 6 books I should say, are like a good genuine starter from now on. But yeah, like, if you're seriously about the life of trying to get your money in your hands into this comic collecting gig, I seriously do recommend it over any other collecting. Like, and I'm talking sports memorabilia, like signed pictures, autographs, all that shit. Because I'll be honest with you, I know a couple people that are into that sort of thing. It's all right, but I gotta be honest, it's a quick turnaround. Like, unless you're investing in like key things, and I mean, I'm using comic book terms here, right? Unless you're investing in like absolute dimes of athletes, and I mean like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, like any of those guys, if you're getting historic stuff off of them, of course it's going to be worth money, and of course it's not ever going to probably lose value. But if you're talking about like stuff that's like hockey cards and sports cards and whatever, Lego, guys, I hate to break it to you, but that stuff comes and goes. Like, I have 3 sets to myself, but that's it. I got these 3 for the enjoyment of building them, not for investments. There's a couple that are collectible, but in my honest opinion, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, the whole Lego thing. I don't mean to offend anybody, but if that's what you're into, but I mean, like, seriously, I used to collect some stuff. Actually, in fact, like I said, I'm a trader, so I sold like a 2006 Lego Batman. I think it was like perfect condition Mr. Freeze minifigure, Two-Face, and Killer Croc, and I used the money towards the Hulk 180. Like, I just didn't see the point of keeping those minifigures around when the money that they're going for right now is, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous. and I could get a historic comic book of the first appearance of a hero that is very much well known, probably way more than announced to Lego. So that's why I did that. But like, say for example, if you were to trade up, I traded my books. So like, I traded the Shocker, the first appearance of Shocker that I had, the first copy, a 4.0. I traded up at a Comic-Con to get a 5.0 Iron Man 55. Then I used that book to trade up to get the Scorpion. That Scorpion was probably one of my biggest ASM books, even still. So next to the Rhino. I don't know if it's gonna surpass my Rhino. I don't think so, but you never know. If Michael Mando does create in this next movie, which I hope he does, because I love the character, but man, it'd be great to see more adaptations of some of those characters, especially Shocker. Let me know if you're a Shocker fan out there. But yeah, so if you guys are genuinely thinking about getting into it, just be patient, be slow, be vigilant too. Like, watch the market like a hawk, honestly. Like, if you get free time, why not just check eBay or whatever, marketplace, whatever, because you never know what you're going to come across. There's some people out there that genuinely don't know the value of what they have. Like, say for example, another man's trash is another man's treasure. That is very true in a lot of cases. There's probably a lot of people right now that don't see these 3 books being worth $3,000 and over. There's a lot of people, and I get that, but the reality is that they are. To the right person, these things are priceless. To me, they're priceless, but everything usually has a price nowadays. So yeah, take it slow, read up on stuff. Honestly, I can't say enough good things about this hobby. I'm really happy that I got what I got. So yeah. And if there's one last thing I'm gonna send off with, is Boogeyman and Dr. Magnets, this channel that I'm posting this on YouTube. This is meant to be a video gaming channel for the most part, but I will occasionally do some like live and action stuff, like with me, or if we go on trips and stuff, like say Japan was one of the places I wanted to go the most. We will probably be doing vlogs and shit like that, so stay tuned for things like that. But I mean, honestly, it's kind of just more or less a passion project at this point. Subscribe, like, I don't tell anybody to subscribe or anything, but I mean, if you do and you like the stuff that you see, feel free, but I don't pressure nobody. But like I said, if you're seriously about getting into this life collecting and stuff, I mean, I think I have pretty good generational wealth earned up to this point with even just the 6 that I have right now. So but yeah, just keep your eyes out, and honestly, just have fun with it. So I'll see you guys later. But yeah, I just wanted to make this because it's highly requested. So cheers.